Okay, so you want to hit the ball farther. Well, don't we all? In this video, I'm going to break down why squatting is a great way to do that. So stay tuned. All right, if you're new to the channel, hey, thank you for clicking on this video. I appreciate that. I think you're gonna learn a lot from this video. If you're returning, you've seen some of my other videos, I appreciate that just as much. Thank you for coming back. You're also gonna learn a lot from this video. So, squatting. We're gonna get into the details of how squatting a barbell can translate to you hitting the ball farther. So a little bit about myself before we get started here. I am a fully registered massage therapist. I have thoroughly studied human biology, anatomy, and biomechanics. So I'm going to use that knowledge to thoroughly explain how squatting a barbell is going to allow you to hit the golf ball farther. Without blabbling on for too much, let's just kind of just jump into things here. All right. So I've pulled up a slow motion video of Brooks Koepka. Now, I chose Brooksy for a couple of reasons. One, he hits the ball really far. I think he's the fifth farthest hitter on tour, if I'm correct. Regardless, everybody knows he's known for smashing the ball, among other things. The second reason I chose Brooksy is because he has a fairly orthodox swing. He has a swing that's fairly easy to emulate for an athletic average golfer. He doesn't do anything too crazy to produce force, nothing like Bryson, doesn't have crazy mobility like DJ. He just swings the golf club like most professional golfers do and like a lot of amateurs can actually emulate. So that's why I chose him. Now, let's get into his swing here. So, okay, got a nice, beautiful takeaway here. I'm not going to talk about golf mechanics because that's not my area of expertise, but I think we can all assume that Brooks knows what he's doing here. Okay, so this is where it gets important. Boom, this position right here. This is called the athletic stance or athletic position, whatever you want to call it. Now, the reason why this position is so important is because we have the maximum amount of potentiated force in this position. So in plain English, what that means is his hips are hinged forward, they're aka flexed, and his knees are flexed or bent. Now, if you think about it, this is actually a squatting position. He's not that low to the ground like you would with an actual barbell in the gym, but it is the same position that he's in. And what he's going to do as he comes through this swing, we're going to see in a second, is as the club starts coming down towards the ball, he's going to extend at the hips and extend at the knee. That is going to produce vertical force that goes through his body, into his torso, into the golf club, and at the ball. So let's take a look here. Downswing into the slot. Absolutely beautiful. Look at those angles. Look at those angles. Boom. See that? Look at the new angles of his lower body here. We have extension of the hip and extension of the knee. So if we take it back and look, flexed, extended, flexed, extended, all right? So as he comes through, as he rotates around, he is extending through his lower body. Boom, boom, smokes that ball. This ball is going to go right down over these trees, right into the middle of the fairway. So that's a product of him knowing how to swing a golf club properly. But regardless, anybody can produce this amount of force. And I genuinely do mean that. If you are strong through your lower body here and you can swing the golf club relatively well, you can make that thing move quickly. That is the whole point of this video, is to explain this transition of movement right here from the flex position of the hips and knees to the extended position. Extension, okay? That's the key word here, extension. That is what creates force in any athlete during any sport. But we're talking about golf because that's what we love. So, if we think about this for a second here, what is Brooks doing during this movement? If we took the golf club out of his hands and put a barbell on his back, he is quite literally squatting, right? His upper body is not moving much because he's golfing, but his lower body is moving upwards. It's extending. That force is driving up, okay? And that is what a squat is, okay? We're going to get into the squat mechanics in a second, but that's what you need to remember. And reiterated myself so many times here when I've said extension of the hips and knees, because that's what matters. And that is what a squat is. You are extending your lower body. You are driving your force upwards into the barbell. And that is how you hit the ball farther without changing your swing. So I hope that made sense. I think it's pretty easy to follow along there. But yeah, let's just look at that one more time because I think it's so beautiful to watch. Flexion of the hips and knees. As he comes through, hits the ball, kablammy. Extension of the lower body. Flexion to extension. Flexion. You see that? I know I've said this so many times. I just want you guys to understand. Flexion of the hips, flexion of the knees, to extension of the hips, extension of the knees. Okay, I've said that enough times. I'm going to stop. But what you guys need to know is that in this position that Brooks is doing and that every golfer is doing is they are essentially squatting, okay? And that is really where the force comes from. I think anybody who's golfed for a while knows you're not swinging your arms as fast as you can. It's a lower body rotation and extension that creates speed and force, okay? So without further ado, let's go to the gym and talk about squatting specifically, okay? Let's go.
Squatting is literally one of the exercises, or one of the best exercises you can use to train your lower body. And the stronger lower body you have, that you can jump higher. You have the potential to produce more vertical force, which in turn aids higher clubhead speeds.
That's proven.
Which is proven.
Okay.
There's studies out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like squatting is such a great exercise for any athlete, to be perfectly honest, right? It's a entry-level movement that can, if they become proficient at, it sets them up to learn more complicated and specific exercises that will come along their way. So squat targets lower back, glutes, and quads. In reality, you're strengthening basically your whole body, other than your pressing movement, because there's no pressing semen there.
Yeah. But everything that you would need in basically in a golf swing, pretty much like for force production is gonna be strengthened through a squat. Oh hey, it's me again. Okay, so in this portion of the video, we're going to do a little breakdown of the squat, so you guys understand how to be safe while doing it, and also just so you understand how to do it properly and get the most out of it. All right, so here we have Jason. Jason has, in my opinion, a perfect back squat. So let's take a look here. So Jason's gonna unrack the bar. It's important to do that with strength. Don't be loosey-goosey when you do that. Okay, first and foremost, boom. The first thing Jason is gonna do is he's gonna take a deep breath into his belly. Now, when you do this, what you're doing is you're actually engaging your pelvic floor and intra-abdominal muscles, not your six-pack. Okay, we're not bodybuilding here. These are the deep muscles that stabilize your lower back and pelvis. It's incredibly important to do this. Okay, I see people in the clinic all the time who fail to do this and then blow out discs and that kind of stuff. Now, keep in mind they're usually lifting more weight than they can typically handle. I wouldn't worry too much about this if you're just starting out. But regardless, the most important thing that you do when you squat is to brace your core. And the cue that I give to people is to think about bearing down. So think about taking a crap, or think about giving birth and you're trying to push a baby out. It's quite literally the exact same muscles that you're going to use when you go down for a squat. All right, so let's watch him do this. Boom. Okay, this position here. Now in this position, if you take a look at his knees have tracked outwards or laterally. Okay, it's incredibly important to do this as well. You don't want your knees caving in. This is something I see all the time with people who are just starting out or people who have never learned how to squat properly. Now, this can be easier said than done, especially if your mobility is not great. if your glutes don't have the strength required to keep your legs rotated outwards, you may find it very difficult to keep your knees tracked laterally, but it is very important. So before you load the bar up and try to impress all your friends, you do not want to be squatting with your knees caved inwards. So whatever you got to do, if you just got to work with the barbell or work with a really small amount of weight when you start off, that's okay. You'll still gain a lot out of that, but I want that to be hit home for you guys. I want you guys to really understand your knees must track laterally, especially on the way up, as Jason does right here. And every single, see that again? And again, see that? Did you watch Jason? He took another deep breath in. Every single rep, he takes a deep breath into his belly. Okay, he is engaging his pelvic floor, his intra-abdominals. He is bearing down. If he had to poop right now, he probably would be pooping right now. But yeah, so he's going to do this time and time again with absolute flawless form because he's really good at what he does. This is his career. It's really as simple as that. Once you've braced, then all you're going to do is you're just going to squat down. You take it slow. Don't dive to the ground. You're just going to sink down. Butt goes as low as it can without forcing it. And your back must stay straight. Do not arch your back. Now, I think most people know that. Most people are aware that you don't want to arch your back while doing large, compound, heavy movements, but it is important that you do that. I find that people typically don't struggle with that if they know not to arch their back, but do remember you want to keep your back in a straight, neutral position. Okay? And that's kind of it. If you look at a 3-year-old or 4-year-old, they squat all the time. They squat absolutely perfectly. You could not create a textbook about squatting better than a 4-year-old squats. And they are never taught how to do that. It is something that is within our biology to do, believe it or not. And also, go watch some YouTube videos, go look up how to squat. Like, it's really not that hard. You just want to make sure you're using the correct form to avoid injury and to actually get the most out of it, okay? I hope this is clear, all right? It's quite simple. Now, I do want to clear something up here. This is not the only thing that is required to hit the ball farther. You need to swing the golf club correctly as well. But if you generally know what you're doing, this is a great way to just be able to produce more force. All right. It's really as simple as that. When you put that weight in the bar and you go up and down, you make lift with big weight, your body becomes stronger. It becomes more resilient and more robust, and you're able to produce more force. Okay. All right. That's it. I hope you guys learned something here. I hope I was able to show you something that you didn't already know. I have a passion for teaching, especially when it comes to human biomechanics. That is my job. So, hey, you know what? If you learned something in this video, subscribe, thumbs up. I really appreciate that because we are going to be doing this all the time. We're going to be breaking down tons and tons of different exercises and movements that you can do at the gym, maybe even at home. We'll see where we go. But the idea here is to teach you how to become a stronger, more athletic person and play golf better. Prevent injury, gain distance, better play, happier life. You go home, your wife's happier because you're happy because you come back from the golf course all giddy because you've been smoking the tee shots, all that good stuff. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Seriously, thanks you for watching. And I will see you in the next video. And we're going to break down a new exercise and a new movement that is going to allow you to play golf better. Peace out.